In the early days of Summit, all the energy went into just making the gathering happen and the community come to life. And so there was setup, there was tear down. It was just tons of energy just to open doors for people to be invited in to Summit. And about a year and a half or two into us being a church, we kind of looked around and said, we've got some ground to make up. We've lost time in terms of caring for our community. I know Jesus has called us to love others around us. And so we're gonna actively and intentionally go serve, go care, go love, humbly and in partnership and in relationship for the sake of making God's name famous in our city.
Well, niceSERVE is a lot of things. So in a nutshell, it is a ministry event that we put together, a church-wide service day where we give kind of a sampling of the different nonprofits that we get to work with, folks that are doing really great and amazing work for the community, out in the community.
niceSERVE, at least in the beginning, was very helpful for singles that were looking to date other people here at Summit. They would come out in droves.
And it's also a really great way for us to introduce the idea and the concept of service to our youngest folks that attend Summit, all of our little kiddos, because we have specific projects that are built for families with elementary school aged kids, and so they get to come and they get to experience service. And then we all get to eat hot dogs afterwards.
Always with the food.
So I didn't come up with the name niceSERVE, but I know who did. And it's Andy Simons. A lot of us played volleyball back in the day before our joints hurt too badly to do it. And we would play beach volleyball from time to time. Andy is so savvy with words that he figured out niceSERVE could be the thing. And so it stuck.
Well, early on, before we had all these established relationships, we just started asking people, hey, who do you know in the community that's doing good stuff?
Will you please let us do a project at your place?
And over time, we've built established relationships. And so now what we do is we reach out to those partners that we've been working with for so long, those organizations.
And we say, hey, we have a niceSERVE event coming up in a few weeks, and we would love to send a team out to your organization and do some things around that you may need help with. We try to approach with, how can we help you? What is most helpful for a bunch of eager hands to do on a Saturday morning for a couple of hours?
In the beginning, it was a bit of trial and error. We had great experiences and then had hard experiences.
niceSERVE is, as much as we get to celebrate and have fun together and we show up in matching shirts and everything, it's not about us. And so we have to think very critically about how do we actually serve well.
What we did as a team is we kind of dove into these new practices that a guy by the name of Phil Hissam, he wrote a curriculum called Dignity Serves, and we jumped into that curriculum and tried to figure out how to serve others with dignity and empower others to see their own value in service. It changed the paradigms for us, for me, and I think it changed the way we serve in the city.
I love having the opportunity to not just serve Summit, but also serve in the community and give back in the community. And I think that's something that everybody should be able to experience.
We can cheer on and participate with and be friends of people doing really great work in our city, that are actually transforming our city with the hope of the gospel. and tangibly loving people that need to be loved.
It's so fun to just watch kids in usually like a shirt that is like 3 sizes too big. Yeah, and seeing them participate and serve and just have a good time, and just like everyone's really present. Families are just together doing something good for our community and for our world. And that feels like a really powerful moment.
The best feeling is after a project and you come back and you feel, man, I really did something, I helped someone, or I helped the organization be prepared for the work that they do for the community, and it just makes you feel wonderful. It makes you feel like you did something to help the community.
We'll see people that went to a nonprofit and their hearts were just so full, or maybe just so broken by a reality that they encountered, that we know this is something we need to help them cultivate in their lives. We know that we have a potential leader, we have a potential champion in the congregation that we want to disciple through this process of learning to serve and really surrender to a call to mission.
The team leader is the lifeblood of niceSERVE, to be on the front lines of saying it's important that we do good work, but it's also important that we're connecting with each other, with our niceSERVE team and community, and that we're connecting with the organization that we're serving.
Yeah, one of the things that I think being a part of niceSERVE does is it changes our rhythm. It's an intentional time on a calendar to say, let's do things a little differently, and let's prioritize serving those who we need to care about.
Yeah, I mean, think of it almost as a spiritual discipline. You're getting out there. You're putting your body in the right place.
The hope is that in changing that rhythm for a moment, we actually come alive to the idea that this is good for us. And so it's like a seed in being interruptible. It's not the fullness of that, but the hope is that it grows into displaying this interruptible character of Jesus.